Hey traders, David Frost, My Strategic Forecast. You're here for another episode of Common Sense Market Analysis. Today is Tuesday, September 10, 2024. We're looking at a daily chart of the SPY or Spider, which is the proxy for the S&P 500. What do we have on the docket today? Well, we had another inside day to the big down day on Friday, but what she did today, and this is the big picture, and then we're going to drill down from there, she traded back up into the 50-period moving average on the daily chart and in the vicinity of getting into the neighborhood of the breakdown candle high, the big-time breakdown candle high from Friday. Get above that high on a daily closing basis, first intraday, hourly closes, 2-hour close, a 3-hour close, and so on. Closes above that intraday and then a daily close above would be the bull case to get to and above that 20-period moving average. We are the umpire calling balls and strikes, and therefore we have to look at both sides of the tape. The other side of the tape is they could be, other side from the bull case, is they could be running sideways in a bearish, flaggish, wedgish type of formation, certainly staying below the high of the last breakdown candle in the sequence, which is Friday's candle, and that high is 551.60. Staying below 551.60 is the bear case. Ultimately, they'll want to release the energy in the downward direction if she, Mrs. Market, cannot recapture 551.60. Write that down, put it on a sticky note. This is the point in time over the next several days where we get the contract roll, the futures contract roll. Don't forget, we have a quad witching options expiration situation this month. It includes a contract roll. Weird stuff happens. Just be on alert. There's nothing you can do. It's an awareness situation. We'll talk about this a couple more times, but later in the month, around the time of the Fed meeting, we have a tinfoil hat event. Just going down my list of stuff here. You look at the big picture from the weekly chart perspective, what did they do? Came back to test the trend line and 20-period moving average on the weekly chart. Garden variety market behavior. Write that down. Put it on a sticky note. Even though it might have seemed like they were falling out of bed last week, the market didn't do anything out of the ordinary. It came right back to test two important places that converged upon each other. Funny how that works. We had a bit of a bonanza again today in the live trading room, inside the numbers. We had a new entry on the Lazy Swing Trader Automagical Algo long side today. Let's take a peek over inside the numbers and see what that bonanza was all about. So we've got a turnaround Tuesday on our hands. The overnight crew never got too far. We had two pivots today. Sometimes I'll do this when it's pretty clear that we're going to have a bull and a bear pivot. So there's your bull pivot. There's your bear pivot. You got a 546.90 as a bull pivot and a 545.60 as a bear pivot. Let's start there. Right of the vertical is today's activity, and let's see if you can guess where the first trade of the day was. Well, this wasn't really the first trade of the day, but this was a trade, not first, but a trade. This is a test from above of the bull pivot and the ricochet back off the bull pivot to up here. I think there was about 9 ES handles on that bounce. We did have good participation in the live room inside the numbers on that bounce. That wasn't the first trade. Hold your horses. Anybody think there was a trade at the bear pivot on the first hit? First time, best time. Anybody ever hear that one before? Yes, there was. That was actually the third S&P, ES, options, whatever traders are trading. That was the third directional S&P trade of the morning. Let's see what we have as the morning starts to unfold. She's creeping up some. What happens if she gets to and above 548.55? Well, the door opens for the next zone in the sequence. That's right around 549.35 up to 549.95, plus shipping and handling. Same thing as 550, give or take. All right, hang on. Let's see what else we got. They continue to rise up. This is around 9 o'clock toward 548.55. It's a target and the very front end of overhead resistance, 548.55. So technically, the resistance zone is 548.55. That's the front end all the way up to 549.95 plus shipping and handling. And there, my friends, for those that wanted it, was the first short of the day, first trade of the day right out of the chute. Now, that's not necessarily my favorite cup of tea, but we did have traders that took that right out of the chute. I would like to have seen them up a little bit higher at that second number for me, yours truly, me personally, to take the short trade. But we did have traders in the live room take that trade and ride it down all the way to where? The bull pivot. Not necessarily for a first exit, but that was certainly another exit. And for some traders in the live room, a flip around situation right at the bull pivot right here. Flip around situation. How you doing? You see right here, any one of those three numbers can reject price. 548.55 did reject price. Let's see what else we have as the day starts to get underway. This is all pre-market stuff. Everything's on the board that you need for the regular session, but generally speaking, it's on the board before the regular session starts, before the bell rings, before they're open for business. 9:32, and there's your 548.55, the entire zone from here to 549.30 and 549.95 is resistance, and a zone where they should bounce around within and pull back from. They just simply pulled back from. And we're moving along. 9:34, there's your initial pullback base hit in the book situation. Holding a trailer is fine. Now check this out. 547.70, give or take, can be some short-term support. The pivot is down at 546.90, but 547.70 short-term support. 547.70. Back to the chart, you can see right here. 547.70, they hit it, spiked it by a couple of pennies, bounced it right back up to where? 548.55. Now you have to give that a funny how that works. When you know the numbers, you know the numbers. We had a pretty damn good cadence today with the S&P numbers. I have a relationship with the S&P. We've been dating steady for a long time. So pause the video, read the notes, go back to the chart, and double check the work. We know about the 546.90. We already talked about that. At 10:11, below 549.90, should be 546.90, but in the zone down in the sequence. And there you have it. 545.60, and the rip it back up in the other direction. But wait, there's more coming. Wait till you see the next one. So here we go at, I believe it's 45.60 and then 545.10, which opens the door for a leg down this afternoon. 543, now pay attention. 543.35 is one of those places where they don't have to get to today. They don't have to get there today. But if they do, it's a likely bounce back place for a trade. 543.35. About low of day down here. What was low of day? 543.38. 3 pennies. That counts for the give or take. We never split hairs over pennies. Have you heard me say that before? Absolutely. 543.38, 543.35, they're the same number. That was low of day. We identified it long before they got there. Every important number today that they went to, we had it. Lock, stock, and barrel. If you're trading in the S&P during the trading day, it behooves you to have these numbers. It behooves you to be an Inside the Number member at least, if not a live room member. Here's some stocks on the move we had today. GM, AU, and AZN. AZN, AstraZeneca, didn't hit its entry objective. It's off the board. But we will take a look at the charts of General Motors and Anglo AU. AU? About GM, we kind of saw this tail candle, this what looks like to be a shenanigans tail candle, but we saw it in real time. Enter GM over here at 44.82. They started creeping up. Traders were taking profit already, and then they spiked it up here over $1. We called it a shenanigans tail candle, but nevertheless, traders got a profit in GM. How about Anglo Gold AU? 26.63 was the number. They spiked it. They rallied back, and they kept going. Finished on the highs today, up near 27.45. How you doing? That's a heck of a day trade. All you had to do was sit on it until the close. There's another thing we traded today in the live room. How about Apple? 217.40. Right of the vertical black line is today's activity. 217.40 was today's number. They hit it, spiked it, bounced it back in the other direction. Apple. I told you, today was one of those bonanza days. What's going on over in Camp IWM? Spiked the 100 period moving average, bounced it back, closed back above it. Doesn't tell us much. They're in the same position / spot they were in yesterday. All in all, they're pretty much eating time off the clock after Friday's big down day. So you got Monday, Tuesday down here eating time off the clock, hovering above the 100 period moving average. That's a bearish scenario, and it will remain bearish until or unless they can recapture the Friday's high and these moving averages. Until or unless that happens, it is a bearish look. Folks down at the transportation department, not much doing today, down 26 points. It's almost like a rounding error in a $15,600 index. It was down less than 0.2%. We're not going to make a federal case out of it. They're hovering around amongst these moving averages. They didn't do much from yesterday, made a low on Friday, had a bounce back day yesterday, and more of a pause-ish after running a test of yesterday's low today. That is bullish on its face, but she didn't close positive, so we're not going to really take anything away from it. We're going to give it more time and see what they do tomorrow. But the bounce back from yesterday's low was bullish, but not closing above yesterday's high leaves them in a not much happened type of position. What about the Q people? Q people had relative strength today, up 0.9%. Spiders were up only 0.4%, so we'll take that as a positive. But again, same routine. All these markets have to recapture, including the Qs, Friday's high, which will also recapture the 100 period moving average in this case. Until or unless they recapture Friday's high, there's nothing doing in the bull case. Right now, she's in the process of running a test in the neighborhood / vicinity of the most recent breakdown candle high in the sequence. Where have you heard that before? Write that down, put it on your computer on a sticky note. How about the XLF? What's going on here? We talked about this zone last night, 43.97. What was low of day today? 43.98. Let me ask you this. Sit back and think about it for a moment. Are there any accidents or coincidences? They came down to run a test in the vicinity or at the most recent breakout area. They bounced off of it and bounced right back above the 20 period moving average. On its face, that's a bullish move. Remember, we're the umpire calling balls and strikes. That was a bullish move. It's like a two-step. What about Smashmouth, the semi-space? Pretty good proxy for the tech space as a whole. Again, same routine. They're holding the 200 period moving average, tested it Friday, Monday, Tuesday, but guess what? Until they can recapture and close candles above the high of Friday's candle, 223.67, no dice. But they are in the process of running a test in the neighborhood of the high. We'll see. Another day is tomorrow, Wednesday. We'll see if and when they can close above the high of Friday's candle. All those markets. That will likely light the match for another leg higher in these markets. Write that down. Put it on your list of stuff. Have I told you how much I appreciate each and every one of you? Without you, these videos, they're not possible. That is true and accurate information. We're pulling the ripcord here today. I'm David Frost, My Strategic Forecast. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Common Sense market analysis.